All right, it's the end of the year. 2024 is pretty much in the bag, and let's go through all the reminders to make sure that your Social Security check, your Medicare, everything is going to be good for the new year. And so, if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. And in my semi retirement, I'm helping y'all make sure you get everything you're entitled to from Social Security retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, disability, Medicare, Medicaid. This is also a live Q&A, so I'm going to talk about a bunch of reminders. Should take about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm going to answer any and all of your questions because there's always exceptions to exceptions when it comes to Social Security. So let's make sure you and your family are receiving everything they are entitled to. All right. So let's go ahead and get it started. A lot of people are receiving IRMA letters. What is IRMA? It's the income related monthly adjustment amount. It's for people that are going to be paying higher Part B, Medicare Part B premiums, and Medicare Part D, the drug plan premiums. It's based on your earnings from 2 years ago. Earnings and some other kinds of 401 distributions and capital gains and all the rest of it. So if you've received that letter and you disagree with it, you can appeal that letter. You can appeal that letter. It's an SSA 44, and it's that you have a life changing event. And it's basically saying, yeah, I made over 106,000 or 212,000 if you're married 2 years ago, but I have since stopped working, and therefore I have a life changing event. And you have to submit that again, SSA 44. You submit it. Unfortunately, it takes forever for them to make a decision and readjust your Part B and Part D premium because Social Security is just way after understaffed. And in the chat, I put a petition in there that we want our politicians to support your local Social Security office so you don't have to wait 3 hours to get in and all the rest of it. And so I can go back into retirement because Social Security is going to be answering your questions for you instead of me here in semi-retirement. So anyway, but I'll be here next few years as long as I can. All right. So a W-4V. If this is also about the time of the year that you need to check to see if you're paying taxes. Well, we all paying taxes, but if you want more to be withheld automatically from your Social Security check, the Social Security Administration does not withhold income taxes from your Social Security check. You can, if you want, it's a W-4V. You can actually, they just changed it recently where you can call the 800 number and they can do it kind of over the phone, but it's a voluntary withholding. Usually you can do like 7%, 15%, or 22%. So if it turns out you're going to be paying more taxes or less taxes or whatever, you can adjust that every year until you get it tweaked just right. Speaking of taxes, 1099. So Social Security will be sending out your 1099 here in a few weeks, and that is what you use to go ahead and take that down to the Social Security, down to your IRS person, your accountant, whoever, to say, hey, here's how much money I made from Social Security. Most people, about 40, 50% of people don't pay taxes on their Social Security. That's one of the things that the next president is coming up and says, no taxes on Social Security, which I agree with. They should have never, started taxing Social Security in the 1980s, but since they have, it's bringing billions of dollars into the Social Security Trust Fund, and so if they stop taxing, then they're just going to have to find a way to cover that gap. If not, then we're going to get cuts a lot sooner, and those cuts are going to be a lot deeper when they actually do start. So, but about 40 or 50% of people that receive Social Security, if Social Security is basically your only income, then you're probably not even paying taxes on your Social Security. Okay, here's another thing that this is the busy season. November, December has always been the busy season for Social Security retirement. I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, and it's always crazy busy about this time of the year because people want to retire starting in January because often they don't understand that you can actually start early based on earnings. Okay. So if we're talking about early retirement, 62, 63, under your full retirement age. If you want to go ahead and retire, you're limited to the amount of money you can make. For 2025, it's $23,400. For this year, it's about 22,000, a little over 22,000. And people say, well, yeah, I would really like to have started my Social Security check last month, or this month. but I made over that. I made, 50, 60, $70,000 this year, so I can't do it. No, that's incorrect. The first year you start your Social Security check, you can go into what's called a monthly earnings test. So for this year, it's 1860. So the first month you're under $1,860, you can start your benefits. So for those out there that called last month in November or October or whenever, and they set up an appointment to start their benefits in January, or they haven't had their appointment yet, you can talk to the Title II claim specialist, Title II of the Social Security Act. I was a Title II of the Social Security, the claim specialist for many years. And you can say, hey, I called you all in October, and I thought I was going to start my benefits in January, but I stopped working in September, or I went to part-time starting October, and I made under 1860, and I was under 1860 this month, and I'll be under 1860 next November, October, November, December. And so I want to start my benefits in October. And they, oh, okay. All right. No problem. You called us in October, so you're protected for October and you're under the 18.6. Sure, you made $1 billion before that, but we don't care about that. We just care about when you actually start your Social Security check. So you can actually start your benefits, get your 3 months extra benefits. Remember, anytime you start your Social Security benefits early, every month early you start your benefits, it's reduced a little bit. But so you do the calculation. So, okay, well, if I make $2,000 and I get 3 months early, that's $6,000 extra in my pocket. Sure, I lose $37. So you take that 6,000 divided by 37, it almost always comes up to like 14 years. I don't know about those exact numbers, but whatever calculation you do, it almost always comes up to 14 years. I've done it a few million times. All right. If you're looking at your full retirement age, then if your full retirement age is next year, or you just turn your full retirement age this year, then you've got no more limits at all. You can go back to making $1 billion a month, and Social Security is not going to withhold, $1 for every $2 or $1 for every three. So, and the year you turn your full retirement age, that's where so let's say you turn your full retirement age in 2025 in July. Between January and June, you can make $62,160. Anything over that, Social Security holds back $1 for every $3 you go over. In July, when you hit your full retirement age, you make $1 billion a month, and it doesn't matter anymore. So some people say, well, I'll go ahead and wait till July to get my full amount, and the work is not an issue anymore. Well, again, if you're making under 62,000 the first 6 months, then work is not an issue. So what I would do is, if you want the full amount, then wait till July. But maybe you want 6 checks ahead of the game, or just a little bit of reduction. Again, do the math. 6 checks at $2,000, that's $12,000. I lose $75 a month. Do the calculation and figure out what you want to do. All right. And if you're also getting near your full retirement age, there's this thing called ARF, the adjusted reduction factor. If you're about to turn your full retirement age, some people are surprised about this extra money that comes in. Let's say you started receiving your benefits at 62 years old, or let's say you started receiving your benefits 30 months early. Okay. And you started receiving your benefits, and then after, let's say, 10 months, you decided to go back to work. So you went back to work, and your benefits were essentially suspended for the next 20 months, and now you're full retirement age. What happens is, once you hit your full retirement age, the computer system automatically looks at your record and says, Mary is receiving, we're going to restart your check. Mary's check is reduced by 30 months. But she didn't get 30 months worth of benefits. She only got 10 months. So the computer system automatically goes in there and adjusts the reduction factor and readjusts it. And from now on, Mary will get a check that is only reduced by 10 months because she only took it for 10 months. So that's 100% automatic. You don't have to contact Social Security and anything like that. 100% automatic. So people are surprised. Hey, I just hit my full retirement age and my check went up. I understand the COLA, but hey, that's the reason. All right, Medicare. This is also the time if you got into Medicare, if you're about to lose your health insurance from work. Remember, if you lose your health insurance from work and you're 70, 75, 85, or whatever, your health insurance from your work or your spouse's work, and your employer has over 20 employees, 20 or more employees, then you don't need Part B. But if you're about to lose that health insurance from work, then you have 8 months. You technically have 8 months to sign up for Part B to avoid those penalties. I wouldn't recommend waiting 8 months because you know what happens when you don't have health insurance for 8 months. That's when you fall or get sick or whatever the case may be. So definitely check out your Medicare. If you've recently signed up for a Medicare plan, an Advantage plan, um, I always recommend, always recommend, look at Medicare supplement plans first. If you're new to Medicare, you're turning 65 or something like that, please check out Medicare supplement plan N and or G first. Start with those two. Once you sign up for Part A, Part B, because there's a lot of gaps. The big one is in Part B, there's a 20% co-insurance. So if you get a $100,000 Band-Aid from your doctor, Medicare pays $80,000 of it. You have to pay the other 20,000. So that's why people get a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare Supplement plan. Always check out Medicare Supplement plans first, N and G. And if it's not right for you, then third option, Medicare Advantage. If you need help, I've partnered with Chapter Medicare, and they can help you out. Give them a call, and they're 100% free. They work all across the country, and their advisors will look at your plans, give you all the options, tell you what the difference is between an N and a G, and all that kind of good stuff, and treat you right. If they don't, make sure you put it in live Q&A that I called up and I wasn't treated right, and I'll reach out to them and play the old Marine Corps sergeant. But anyway, but if you changed your Medicare Advantage, if you have a Medicare Advantage and you just changed it during this last enrollment period, which was October 15th to December 7th, and the first week of January, you go into the doctor and it finds out that the doctor doesn't cover your plan, or you find out the details and like, wow, I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Then you have a kind of a mulligan opportunity. You have a do-over. January, February, March, you can change your plan. So I recommend as soon as possible. So if you call up Chapter there at January 15th, after you find out your doctor isn't covered or you find out the details is not very good, then call them up. They will find you a better plan, and it'll take effect February 1st. If you do it February, it'll take place in March, take effect in March. So give them a call and they'll help you out. 2024 earnings. So once you reach out to your buddies at the IRS and do your taxes, um, you know, those earnings will reflect on your Social Security record. So please, you and everybody particularly young people. Young people think they're not going to get old, but anyway. Um, so inevitably, if they're lucky, they're going to get old, and they're going to want their Social Security and their retirement and their hopefully not their disability and survivor benefits and all the rest of it. And all of that is based on what you actually paid into Social Security. Once you file your taxes, the IRS notifies Social Security, hey, this person paid X amount. So that's what they use for the calculations, your high 35 years of earnings. So it's important that you make sure those records are correct, because if they're not, then you're going to get an incorrect benefit for the rest of your life. And it's better to do that early when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, because if you see a mistake, it's easy to correct it if you jump on it immediately. If you try to correct it 20 years later, as a lot of people in my live Q&A say, yeah, it's very, very difficult to correct it later. There are ways to do it. I teach people the tips, tricks, and secrets all the time. All right. COLA. Don't worry about the COLA. The 70 million people that are receiving Social Security benefits, they're going to get that exciting 2.5%. Wish it was more, but it's not a presidential thing. It wasn't Biden's 2.5% or Trump's 2.5% or Obama's. It was taken out of the kind of the political realm in the early 1970s. It's an automatic calculation that the bean counters essentially they do. So, and that'll come automatically once once the COLA is announced. Then Social Security goes into the computer system, does the calculation, does 2.5% across the board. So all 70 million. So if you didn't get your 2.5% COLA increase, that means nobody got it. So everybody gets it at the same time. All right. Another thing is if you worked this year, and same type of thing, a high 35 years of earnings. If you worked this year and this year was one of your high 35 years of earnings, then your benefit, if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, your benefits will go up. So basically, again, talk to your buddies at the IRS. Okay, I'm kind of being sarcastic there. But anyway, you file your taxes. The IRS notifies Social Security. Social Security looks at those earnings for this year, 2024, and it says, hey, this is one of that person's high 35 years of earnings. So let's kick out the low one, stick in this new one, recalculate, and you get your benefits. Your benefit will increase. It will never decrease. If you're like, oh, I worked zero this year, I took off. So is that my benefit is going to be reduced? No, no, it's never reduced like that. It's only increased. Um, so if you have, like, 5 years of zeros and this year you made $500, then 1 year of zero is going to be kicked out and the $500 is going to go in there. So kind of that. But that one takes a little bit longer. Um, so if the COLA immediately, some people have already received their COLA, but most people receive it in January. But the COLA, for people on SSI, supplemental security income, they receive it a little bit earlier. But anyway, their last check or something. But the high 35 years one, that takes a little time. Some people have just gotten that increase last month or October, because again, you have to notify Social Security of how much you made for 2024, and then the IRS has to notify. So it has to go through the system. So you do your taxes in April. IRS notifies Social Security in May or June. The Social Security does the recalculations and says, "Hey, this person's benefit should be increased by $10." So they increase it starting October going forward, and they give you $10 a month all the way back paid till January. So like in October, or August or September, or whenever the case may be, when you get that recalculation, you'll say, wow, my check went up, $100. Is it going to go up 100? No, that's your back pay going back to January. It might just be up, $10 a month. So, but that one takes a little bit longer. All right, a DRC payment, delayed retirement credits. If you retired after your full retirement age, you get these delayed retirement credits, and it's 8% every year you delay starting your Social Security benefits after your full retirement age. The full years, the Social Security computer system is able to calculate no problem. So they give you 8%, 8%. But if you don't do another full year, if you have like odd months, it you won't get it immediately. You usually get those odd months the following year in January or stuff, when the computer system kind of catches up to itself. And there's weird reasons why that happens, but you'll get your extra months of delayed retirement credit. So don't worry about that. That's 100% automatic as well. All right. So we went down the list fairly well. If I missed anything, make sure you put it in the chat there. And if you have any other questions, let's go ahead and see what else we have. Let's see here. Complied with the 7162 requirements, even called the 800 number for verification, still suspended. Very stressful, need some direction, submits regular. Fax regular. So yeah, if you sent in forms at Social Security and you're still suspended and you've reached out, again, the customer service at Social Security is terrible right now because the politicians want it to be terrible because they want to privatize Social Security and give it over to their buddies at Wall Street. So that's kind of one of the reasons why that's so terrible. So that please sign the petition, and we need to stop falling for their games. That we blame Social Security. Social Security is just a government agency, and it's supported by Congress. And when it's not supported, that's what happens. It sounds like you've gone above and beyond and tried everything to get that corrected. So it's time to contact your political representative wherever you're from, and your senators or your House representative, congressperson, and say they have on their website, they have a little button that says, I need help with a federal agency. You click on that little thing. I suggest everybody does it. Click on that thing today and say, yeah, I need help with a federal agency. They lost my form. They stopped my benefits. I need its help. Hey, I need help with a federal agency. Your office, congressperson, the Social Security office right down the street from you, I had to wait for 3 hours to get in there. And they hung up on me. I waited 3 hours on the phone and they hung up on me. What are you doing to improve customer service at that office? I have to wait 3 months for an appointment because now Social Security's gone to a reservation only system. What are you doing to help your local office? Forget about national. We have to take it, their backyard. What are you doing to improve the customer service in your local office? So please, everybody do that and sign the petition, and let's get this done. We have to stop falling for their tricks. I'm currently receiving SSI and was a letter carrier back in the day. Okay, SSI is a welfare-based program. Will Social Security now recalculate my benefits based on the passing of the bill this last week? Okay, so if you're an SSI, you don't qualify for that because you're receiving the welfare benefits. But you probably just You meant Social Security. You didn't mean SSI. Yeah, the windfall elimination provision. You're now. I'm going to do a video on this. This is. I'm going to in the next couple of 3 days, I'm going to do a video on the act that was just passed, and I think it's going to be my most angriest video I've done. I've done over 800 videos, over 900 videos, and this is going to be my angry video because this is completely, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, this is completely unsatisfactory. These people are taking advantage of disabled people and poor people, and it's a shame. So for their own benefit. There, I said it. So watch my video and you'll understand. How long does it take to get X survivor benefits? I've been waiting 2 months in stage review 2. Okay, so you've been waiting to stage review 2. So sounds like you were talking about disabled widows benefits, because in terms of divorced surviving spouse benefits, if you provided the proof, the marriage and the divorce, then I've done hundreds of thousands of those, and if you walk into an office and said, "Here's my marriage certificate, here's my divorce decree," and by the time you walk out of the office, the claim is adjudicated and you get your check, immediately if you're entitled immediately. So it sounds like you're talking about disabled widows benefits. So if it's disabled widows benefits, they have to prove you disabled, and that takes unfortunately 6 to 9 months right now. But if it's not, if it's just a regular claim, then yeah, it shouldn't take 2 months. It should take 10 minutes if you have all the proofs and everything. Easy, 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 easy. I'm retiring this month and applying for Social Security. I'm going to receive a bonus in March 2025 for company performances in 2024. Will this be counted as wages income for 2025? No, because you earned it this year. However, you might have to prove that later. Don't even bother telling Social Security because there's no place for them to put that into the system. Um, the issue will come up in 2026 when you file your taxes. So in 2026, when you file your taxes, and if that puts you over the annual earnings limit for 2025, then Social Security will send you a nasty gram and say, "Hey, we paid you $5,000 too much. You made, because you earned $10,000 over." Then you just have to go down there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here it's for a previous time. So it was for work I did prior to 2025. So if the computer catches it, you'll get the nasty gram, and you just have to go down there and prove it. So make sure you keep that paperwork of what it was. So if they raise the retirement age, who will it affect? I'm 64, waiting until 65 to pull Social Security. Should I pull it now, given what the government might change? All right, so this is a big question right now. Yeah, I just did a video on this today. Rand Paul and a couple of other senators tried a little sneaky thing where they tried to change the retirement age in the middle of the night type situation. So this is a thing we have to watch out for. Raising the retirement age and cutting benefits now and all that kind of stuff. These sneaky politicians, they're going to try it in the middle of the night when we're not watching. And one day we're going to wake up and, they're going to cut our benefits by 90%. And we have to wait till 105 to, so we have to keep an eye on them, and I'm going to keep an eye on them. So, but usually when they do stuff like that, in order to make it palatable, AKA, so they don't lose votes immediately, they always have us sell out our children, just like they did in the 1980s when they raised the retirement age from 65 to 67. They said, "No, you're good, but your kids, sorry, yeah, but you don't care about your kids, do you? So forget about it." So yeah, so usually they don't do it, and that it'll affect people immediately. But that's the question I'm getting a lot right now: is when should I retire? And I always say, when you pull the trigger on retirement is based on, do you need the money? Do you have, are you working over your annual earnings limit? Are you full retirement age? Are you healthy? What about the genes in your family? Is it going to put you in a higher tax bracket? But one of the questions I'm adding now is, I've never added it before. And it's not about who's voted for the next president. It doesn't matter who the next president was going to be. We are at crunch time. Let me put it up here. In the next few years, and time flies when you're having fun, right? Benefits are going to be cut. As of right now, I'm not sure if President Biden signed that Social Security Fairness Act. It's not fair at all, but anyway, I'll talk about that. My angry video. So as of right now, In 2034, we're going to get about a 21% cut in benefits across the board. Everybody, no grandfathered in or anything like that. And read the report. I've got it in the description of my YouTube channel. Read the report. It says right there, 2034, 21%. Now with the passing of that Social Security Fairness Act that government employees are essentially taking advantage of poor people, it's going to be cut by another 1 or 2%, and it's going to be about 6 months to a year earlier. If the next president gets some of the stuff he's talking about, which again, they're no longer going to tax Social Security, which I agree with, but that and other things is also going to hurt Social Security. So the cuts are going to be 33%, and it's going to happen a few years early. If we do the right thing and we poke our politicians with a sharp stick and say, hey, do what we want you to do, then it'll be addressed and we'll get zero cuts. And everybody that watches my channel on a regular basis knows exactly what my solution is to raise the cap. So right now, if you make for 2025, if you make under $176,100, then 6.2% of that money, whatever you make, 50,000, 100,000, goes into Social Security. Obviously, your employer pays the other 6.2%. But if you make over $176,100, you stop paying Social Security tax in your FICA. So someone that's making $50,000 a year is paying 6.2% of their check to Social Security. If you're making $5 million, you're paying 0.43%. And that's completely unfair. So they should raise the cap so everybody pays the same across the board. And if that's the thing that we decide that we want to push, then Social Security will be good for decades and decades and decades, and there'll be no cuts. And again, this is not me saying it. Read the report, the Social Security, the actuary's report, where he scores all of these plans, and he gives this one a 73% in the terms of it will solve 73% of the issues. And then politicians will say, well, it doesn't solve 100%, so let's not even do it. And, it doesn't solve 100% and doesn't give people, free ice cream and unicorns, and Ed doesn't get his hair back. And so if that's not the case, we just shouldn't do it. We should just sit around and wait around for cuts. But we just need to, yeah. Then we just, another 5% or 10%, we do other things. But that's 73%. That's the best one. And a lot of people that watch my channel on a regular basis agree with that. All right. After 10 years, we'll be getting the same amount what we got now after 22% cut. I calculated 2% COLA every year for the next 10 years, which is 20%. So we have to come up with an inflation difference from our saving. Oh, Kayla, Ram, numbers person. Yes. So yeah, if the COLA stays at 2.5, last year was what, 3.5, 3.2, and the year before was 8.7. So yeah, COLA changes a little bit. If the next president does the tariffs thing, then COLA is going to be crazy, because COLA is based on the kind of inflation. And if we do tariffs, then inflation is going to be crazy. And so the COLA is going to be crazy, and that's going to suck into the trust fund even quicker. Yeah, could you imagine 10 years from now basically having the same check you do right now? So yeah, it's going to be tough. So let's get to it. A friend was diagnosed, and let's stop politicians from dividing us into left, right, and liberal and Democrat and Republican. That's what they do. They divide and conquer, and we have to stop playing their games. So come on, we're smarter than that. A friend was diagnosed with non-compensating liver. Number one, Greg, thank you for looking out for your friends. This is what we want in this community. My neighbor, my sister, my friends, awesome. Look out for people. Says on her paperwork, terminal 18 to 24 months. She is over 15 months not doing well. Social Security has given her denial after denial. What can she do? Wow. Yeah, this should be if it's terminal like this, is called a Terry case, TERI, and denial after denial. Again, I'm a doctor, but not a medical doctor. But she, if she's got this type of issue, and all her doctors say it's terminal, and she's filing. Okay, so there's two types of denials for Social Security when you file for disability. There's kind of a technical denial, in the sense that you're just not insured for Social Security. You didn't pay it into it enough. You didn't pay enough in the last 5 out of the last 10 years. So you get a denial based on, just like insurance. If you have X auto insurance and you get in an accident and then you go to another company and say, hey, pay for my car. And like, wait a second, you're not even a member of, ours, so technical deny. And I'm assuming she's good there. She paid into Social Security. She worked 5 of the last 10 years and everything. So it's not a technical denial. Then if it's a medical denial, given that, I mean, it sounds like she should be approved. I'm wondering what's going on there. She can hire a disability lawyer. Some will take cases like that. Some disability lawyers take cases, they get 25% of your back pay over $9,000. They just changed it they just upped it to $9,000, 9,200, I think it is, of your up to $9,200 of your first check if you're approved. And if it doesn't look like there's any money there, then most disability lawyers just won't even touch it because there's no money there, unfortunately. So on her particular case, I would recommend Greg. Number one, thank you again for helping her out. I would, find out what's going on there and contact your congressperson and say, hey, again, number one, what are you doing to improve customer service here? And here's an example of terrible customer service. She's got terminal case. She's insured. She paid into Social Security. That's her money. She's entitled to that money because she paid into it. And they're being denied. What the heck is going on? And then what happens when you do? It's called a congressional. I used to get these all the time in my office, not often, but about once every couple of months or so, because we were so awesome. Well, it wasn't me; my staff was so awesome. But what happens is you do that congressional, and that congressional sends it to Baltimore, where the headquarters of Social Security. The Baltimore office sends it to the regional office, and then this all takes place really, really quick. And then the local office gets it, and they have to address it within the 24, 48 hours. They have to respond back and say, okay, yes, we got this congressional, and we reached out to Greg's friend there, and we told her, X, Y, and Z, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So please, and again, you can call your congressperson, whoever you prefer, or you can go onto the website. I need help with a federal agency, and that gets through the process fairly quickly. So thank you again for looking out. Um, oh, E-Truth. There we go. There we go. This is what I want. Yeah, my neighbor. See, look, oh, this is awesome. We got the best community on YouTube here on social media, or TikTok, or wherever you're watching from, Instagram and LinkedIn, and what else we got there? Facebook and X. Yeah, I'm even going to X. What are you going to do? Sally turned 65, is eligible for Medicare. She wants a supplemental plan and also wants to wait for FRA. She has been receiving SNAP, wants to know, does she need to take an Advantage plan to get a SUP? Okay, so if she's receiving SNAP, EBT, food stamps, then she might be getting Medicaid, Medicare and Medicaid. If she's receiving Medicaid and Medicare, she's what's called a dual eligible. And for the most part, she cannot get a Medicare supplement, one of those N or Gs. The only thing she can get is a Medicare Advantage. If she has a higher level Medicaid, which QMB or QI or SlimB is dependent on what state you're in, she might be eligible for what's called a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And usually I don't recommend Medicare Advantage. I always do Medicare Supplement. But if you have Medicare and Medicaid, a dual eligible plan is definitely the one you want to get. Those are the ones you see advertised with all the extra, bells and whistles and grocery cards and stuff like that. Those do exist, but they're advertised really scammy. So I would have her reach out to chapter, and they will check to see, number one, if she's able to get a supplement. And if she's able to get it, they'll talk to her about it. And if she wants it, they'll get her set up with it. If not, then they'll check out a Medicare Advantage, a regular one. If she's eligible for Medicaid as well at the higher levels, then they'll check out a dual eligible plan. And you can't call chapter and tell them to call Sally. That's illegal. That's, unfortunately, Medicare insurance agents and brokers out there are doing bad stuff all the time. Only Sally can call chapter. and if she has problems speaking, she can say, hey, I want to talk about Medicare, but I have my friend here, and can you talk to him or her, and so we can walk through this, and then but you can't call them and tell them to call. That's Yeah, they can't do that. It's the same reason Medicare insurance and all that is really super regulated, which is a beautiful thing. When you walk into like Walmart or Target or some pharmacy or something like that, you see a table there with people selling Medicare or enrolling people in Medicare, that they're like, wow, that person is a terrible salesperson. They should be standing up and saying hello to people and shaking their hands and stuff like that. No, they can't. They just have to sit there until you walk up, and they got that little button that says ask me about Medicare. Until you say, hey, what about Medicare, they can't say anything. So it's awesome, it's good. So that means it's keeps out the kind of the riffraff there. That's why I chose Chapter, because they are up and up, and they do an awesome job. um, the last I have records for is 2013 and 2014, when repay was complete. Oh, okay, so let's see. Yeah, to get your benefits corrected, your earnings record corrected, it's very difficult to do it, years back. Um, Keith, when Social Security sent me the independently entitled divorced spouse approval letter, they also sent papers that show my ex spouse is invested in other retirement funds. Am I to act on those? All right. So, Keith, awesome. So, I think, Keith, you found out about that here. Independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. A lot of people missing this. There's, again, please subscribe and share and like and all that kind of stuff so more people get this information. But people are waiting for their ex-spouses to file for benefits, and they don't have to. As long as your ex-spouse is at least 62 and you've been divorced for 2 years, you can file for benefits on their record, even if they haven't filed. So that's what Keith did and got some extra money. Um, and for some reason, I could never figure it out. I've done hundreds of thousands of claims, and every now and then stuff like that would pop up into the system. I'm not sure what kind of database or wherever. So it was kind of odd. Sometimes it popped up that says, "Did you know you have money out there in some retirement fund or this, that, or the other?" And never, the person said, "No, I used to work, as a carpenter in Ohio back in the '70s." I'm like, "Well, according to the thing that just popped up, you might have a pension sitting there." And they call them up, and "Oh yeah, I just got an extra $150 from, some job I worked out in the '70s." I'm not sure how it pops up, but sometimes it does. And I guess it did for you. So, um, but it might be based on, that person alone can collect those benefits, but sometimes maybe a spouse can collect those benefits. So you'd have to fill the requirements of that particular pension, that you were married to the person for however long or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I would, reach out and see if there's any spouse benefits. Absolutely. Would there be a disadvantage to starting over with my Social Security using the one-time do-over option to increase my monthly check? I know I need to repay what I have received. Thank you. Texas travel couple. Yeah, it really depends on your particular situation. So what they're talking about is, within 12 months of your Social Security retirement benefits starting, you can do a do-over. You can say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited. I found a job, and or I just hit the lottery, and I don't need the money right now." Um, then within 12 months, you can withdraw the application like it never happened. And because it never happened, you have to repay the benefits. And we used to get people coming in all the time, and they say, I want to withdraw. Okay, all right, here's the form. You fill it out and withdraw. And as soon as you pay the money back, then the withdrawal will take effect. And then they disappear. So there's that. But yeah, as soon as you pay the money back, it's like it never happened, and then you can file again next year or 2 years ago, 5 years or whatever the case may be. So, yep, and it really depends on your particular situation. I can't tell you, if you don't really need the money, or you're going back to work, or it's going to put you in a higher tax bracket, or you should have waited. Then, yeah, that's yep, you can definitely do that. I'm a retired teacher in Kentucky. We get a pension, not Social Security, for my 40 quarters earned before I became a teacher. My Social Security benefit is greatly reduced. It's not reduced, it's corrected. When I started my Social Security payments, the clerk at the window told me that I was not eligible for divorced spouse benefits because of WEP, not WEP, it's the GPO. Listening to you, I just want a second opinion on that. I was married for 10 years plus. Your insight, please. Should I revisit that question? If so, how? Thank you. All right. So, yeah, that if the president signs this Social Security Fairness Act or Unfairness Act, as call it, then the GPO, 2/3 of your non-covered pension will offset what you receive from your ex-spouse or your spouse. And if he passes that, then that won't be in effect anymore. So you can get your spouse benefits. So, and you probably don't want to watch the video I do on that because, yeah, I know 97% of Americans don't want to watch it because they will get way angry, and it won't only be me that's angry. Am I red right now? I'll be even redder when I do that video. But anyway, I'm 63, currently on FMLA, family medical leave. My husband is 65, diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Oh my gosh. On STD, short-term disability, through his work. He feels he won't be around much longer. Oh my gosh. Should I wait until fraud before I apply for Social Security, and will I get his Social Security? Okay. Um, you're on FMLA. That has no effect on necessarily Social Security. It really depends on your work. If you're working, then you're limited to the amount of money you can make, and that's 23,000 for next year's 23,400. But the first month you go under 1950, you can start your benefits. So I'm not sure if you're going to go back to work or how you're categorized at work as actually being on work and getting pay, or so yeah, that's kind of depends on your work, and how your work notifies the IRS that you are in fact working. So it really depends how you're categorized. Um, but yeah, if something happens to him, he diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Has he filed for disability? It won't make a difference for Medicare because he's also already entitled to Medicare. Start his benefits at a higher rate earlier. Yeah, if anything should happen to him, you would be entitled to survivor benefits. Yep. And because you're 63, those benefits are going to be reduced because, if you start at 63 or 64, you're going to be starting those benefits early. And every month you take, benefits from Social Security early, they're always reduced 1 month for pretty much all the time. There are exceptions. But Yeah, it really depends on your particular situation. So I would definitely, again, have him file for disability benefits, get some checks there. If that event happens, then you file for benefits on his record. You don't touch your record. Maybe depends on the benefit amounts. But what a strategy is you file for the surviving spouse benefits and get those. Don't touch yours. You let yours continue to increase until you're full retirement age or full, or 70 years old. Yeah. Um, Hello, Dr. Weir. Yesterday, you said that no one needs to do anything to get the Social Security increase. Is that correct? Yeah, if we're talking about the Social Security Fairness Act that's being signed by the president that just passed the Senate, then yes, Social Security already has those records. Maybe on the government pension offset, if we're talking about the WEP, the windfall elimination provision, that should be automatic. The government pension offset, the people that decided not to file because it was completely offset, then those people do have to file a claim. But Social Security is going to, reach out and, Social Security until the act is finally signed by the president and it's given to Social Security, and Social Security, their lawyers, look at the details, and then the lawyers give it to the computer programming people, and the programming people do their things, and yeah, so. Let's see. Immediately, not sooner. Immediately on sooner. Yeah, I haven't said that today, haven't I? My wife sent me a link that everyone has to go to the IRS website to see if we qualify a big Social Security raise. Do we need to do that? There is. I'm going to probably do a video. There's a one that's $1,400, an IRS thing. And basically, it was a stimulus thing that the IRS missed, and so they're sending out about 1 million checks. And I guess the IRS already has that information in there. So not sure how that's going to work out, but I'm going to check in a little bit deeper and I'll do a video on it. I'm on disability right now. I'll be 65 in March. Will I be able to claim entitled divorce spouse in March? You can do it right now. If You're receiving benefits. You're at least 62 years old. If you were married to the person for 10 years or longer, you've been divorced for 2 years, and that person is at least 62 years old, you can collect benefits right now, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. Their benefits has to be twice as much as yours, and you get the difference. But yeah, I would definitely call them up call Social Security right now, and see if there's any extra money on there. And because you're also going to be 65 in March, remember, you have that opportunity a lot of times that if you're receiving Medicare and you're under 65, health insurance companies know that you're disabled. And so they avoid giving you the Medicare supplement, and legally they can, unfortunately. So you might have been stuck with a Medicare Advantage plan, but you wanted a Medicare supplement plan. Now that you're 65, you can get a Medicare supplement plan with no health underwriting. They can't discriminate against you. They can't deny you. They can't charge you extra. So I would definitely check that out now that you're turning 65 to see if, see if you can get that. If it's not good for you, then it's not good for you. I have applied for survivor spouse for my spouse that I'm entitled SSDI. He had Medicare. Do I need apply Medicare from work and VA common law? Okay, wow, there's all over the place there. All right, let me try to answer this. If you are receiving any type of benefits from Social Security in terms of retirement benefits, spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits, and you turn 65 years old, then yeah, Social Security will essentially sign you up for Part A and Part B automatically. If you want to keep Part A and or Part B, because you don't have health insurance from work and 20 more employees and all that good stuff, then you need to find some type of plan to cover all the gaps. And again, reach out to chapter there. Let's see. What can I do to make sure that I'm getting the maximum amount of my Social Security benefits? Number one thing, as always, is to make sure your earnings record is correct. Go into Social Security, set up an account, look at your earnings record, go over it, and make sure it's correct. Um, if you're receiving benefits on your own record, in terms what people, and if you're in the military, make sure Social Security knows you're in the military. Get a little bit extra there, not much, but hey, a buck's a buck. Um, but a lot of people, what they're missing in benefits is they file at the wrong time and for the wrong type of benefit. They file for retirement, should have filed for disability, filed for retirement, should have filed for surviving benefits, missed the independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, so that's where the big mistakes are happening. They're doing the wrong things at the wrong time. Won a lawsuit and I'm on SSDI. The lady told me I can't have Medicare while I have the lawsuit money. What can you tell me about this? Um, yeah, no, that's I've never heard of that. Can't have Medicare while I have the lawsuit money. No, no. The only thing possibly because if you're entitled, you're 65 or you're, been on disability for 2 years, then you're eligible for Medicare. It doesn't matter, if you won a $1 billion lawsuit or lottery, whatever the case, had no relevance whatsoever. For Medicare, if Medicaid through the state, that's a whole different animal, but we're talking about Medicare here. But the only thing a lawsuit would interfere with Medicare, with any health insurance. Say, for instance, if you're in a terrible accident and you go to the hospital and your health insurance company or your Medicare, whoever, pays $100,000 for that operation because you're in an accident. And then insurance pays you $100,000 to recompensate you for the medical costs. Well, then Medicare is going to want that money because that's where that money's from. So or your health insurance company, they'll say, hey, we doled out $100,000 and insurance company just gave you 100,000. You're not going to keep that as profit, right? That's our $100,000. So they reach out to you and they say, hey, give us our $100,000. So maybe um, that's the only thing I can think of there. I'm a retired military veteran with TRICARE, and I'm a disabled vet. When I turn 65 in 2 years, I will be on TRICARE for life. Will it be worth the money to get Medicare Part A and Part B? Whether it is or ain't, you have to get it. TRICARE mandates if you're on TRICARE for life, you have to get Part A and Part B. But if you have Medicare Part A, Part B, and TRICARE for life, then you're good. Um, there's some health insurance agents and brokers out there that want to sell you a Medicare Advantage or plan or something so they can make more money. I I wouldn't. Chapter doesn't do that. So just you're good. Go on with your life. Thank you for your service. Judy, I was married for 40 something years. Then we divorced, and I have remarried for 20 years. Now, my question is, can I draw my ex husband's Social Security? If you're now divorced again, yes. If you're married to the person 10 years and that benefit amount is twice your benefit amount, yes. But it sounds as though you've been remarried. You're currently remarried. Um, the only time a remarriage won't affect it is if we're talking about survivor benefits and you remarried after the age of 60. Called my local Social Security office a half hour, spoke to the agent, and she resolved my issues quickly. Yes, I like it. Even with all of the limitations and the zero support from their political representatives, there's a lot of Social Security employees that are doing an awesome job. So thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see here. I'm jumping around a little bit. We're running out of time, so I'm jumping around on a bunch of questions. I'm trying to find people that I haven't seen here before. Hi, Ed. I'm okay with helping low wage earners, but the bin point formula needs to go. It's not fair. I am fine with establishing a minimum for lower wage earners subsidized by the rest of us. Yeah, yeah, the bin point thing, it's been, essentially a progressive, again, I'll do a video on this. Um, Not the bin point formula needs to go. It's how the non-covered people, those 3%, how should they do the recalculation? And I talked about that, how the best way to do it. We couldn't do it very well 40 years ago, so they came up with a terrible system. It was good for 75% of the people, but the other 25% it's not. But now we've got a better system, and we can come up with a better recalculation. It's super simple. But the bin point formula itself is good. How the bin point formula is used, which is probably what you're talking about. So, yeah, I agree. Yes, yes. So, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, you and I are right on the same page. We just different ways to get there, but yes, thank you. Perfect. Thank you. I have been trying for 2 years to disenroll from Medicare Part A. Yeah, it was a mistake. Multiple confirmation that the right docs received. Um, if you're currently receiving or if you're currently receiving retirement benefits, you can't disenroll from Part A. There is an exception. Exception as everything. If you're having to pay for Part A because you did not pay into Social Security 10 years, you're not insured for Social Security. If you're having to pay for Part A, it's like over $400 or something a month. If you're having to pay for it, then you can disenroll. But if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, yeah, you're stuck with Part A. So not Part B. You can disenroll from Part B. Um, I told my sister your info about applying for Social Security through her husband, and she divorced. Oh, okay, awesome. Hopefully, she was able to go get some money there. Um, People who don't pay into FICA over 174,000 and 3% from WEP both are the same and greedy, in my opinion, and harming others. I would agree with you. So anyway, maybe I won't be as red when I do this video. Currently drawing Windows benefits, turning 70 in 2025. Do I continue to draw Windows benefits or my own Social Security, please? It really depends on the benefit amount. What's supposed to happen is your local office. This again, please share, subscribe, like, and all that kind of good stuff. What is supposed to happen is in each office, my office had an employee, hi Irma, that was it Irma or Chris was anyway. It changed all the time. They used to send out what's called a WIB rib. They used to get a WIB rib list and widow's insurance benefits to retirement insurance benefits. And they used to get a list and say, hey, there's 500 people in your district that are currently receiving surviving widow's benefits, surviving spouse benefits, but their benefits on their own record is higher. Send them a letter and tell them that fact that, hey, your benefits on your own record is higher. You need to come in or schedule an appointment to switch over from your widow's benefits to benefits on your own record. And please don't wait till after 70. The month you turn 70, your benefits on your own record stop increasing based on delaying those, benefits. So yes, I would reach out to Social Security and say, how much exactly? And whatever month you turn 70, you wait till that month, or if your benefits are more now and you need that extra money, then yeah, pull the trigger now. Yes, absolutely. But the problem is why I want you to like and subscribe and share and all that kind of stuff is people they send out those letters, and some offices they might not work that workload. They might not work that list. Or they send out the letter and it doesn't get to you, you throw it away, the mail doesn't deliver it, it goes to an old address or whatever the case may be. So there I can tell you there's a lot of people out there in their 70s, 80s, 90s that have more money just sitting there waiting for them, but they never went and got them. So we need your help to get that money to people that really, really need it. So like and subscribe and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let me jump around with the people. I get nervous when I hear that everything's automatic. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Yes. Um, how do the delayed retirement benefits help Social Security or the trust fund? Incentive to reduce people filing for benefits in short term? Dollars are invested, getting interest, and is this opportunity in cuts? Yeah, delayed retirement credit's been around for a long time. Yeah, it's I guess it's a way for people, Social Security, the government, or whatever, to try to get people to delay retirement as long as possible to 70. And but if you're healthy and you've got good longevity in your family and stuff, it might benefit. And some people do it because it's going to put them in a higher tax bracket. So it's like, well, I'm going to get this much money extra, but I'm going to pay this much more from taxes. So I just won't get it until I'm 70 and stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons people delay until they're 70 years old, or they delay so they can get more money for their surviving spouses because current spouses don't receive delayed retirement credits. Surviving spouses do. So some people say, hey, I've got enough money right now, but my spouse or to my divorced spouse, if really super compassionate looking, over your divorced spouse, if I wait until I'm 70, then they will get a lot more money, and I don't need the money right now, so I'll just go ahead and wait. So yeah, that's another reason. So yeah, it really depends. Um, da, da, da. All right, that's a windfall elimination. I'm going to skip that one. Thanks for all you do. You're welcome. Will be 62 in March. Will collect my Social Security for a while, then deceased husband's later. His will always be higher. Watching you for months, your advice helped my decision. Oh, awesome. Great. Yeah, so it sounds like you're doing the right strategy. And so you're probably going to make thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly more in your lifetime because of taking Took and Deb and Maureen and Lydia and Penelope and Al and Belinda and Wanda and all those people pressed like and subscribe. And that's how the video got to you however many weeks or months ago. And so, yes, so please do the same. Thank you. All right. There's my little sales pitch for helping other people. Thank you for helping us. God bless you and your family. Have a blessed Christmas to you and your family. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You're too awesome. I heard that those on disability are not able to move out of the country. Is this true? Do I have to wait until I'm 62 and retired? No, there's a lot of people on Social Security disability living outside. Um, if you're a U.S. citizen, then as long as you stay away from the sunny beaches of North Korea and Cuba, or whichever the beaches are, then you're good. You can live anywhere in the world. If you're a green card holder, it's a little bit more. It's a bit different, but possibly what you think is you're talking about is if you're on SSI, supplemental security income, then yes, you have to report back every 6 months and stuff like that. But if we're talking just regular Social Security disability insurance, no, there's people all over the world that get disabled at their 40s and 50s and stuff, and then they say, well, $1,200 a month, I'm not going to be able to do it in the United States, so they move overseas, but they receive I call it I'm not dead letter every year. It's basically a letter that they receive because they're living overseas, and Social Security knows they're living overseas. So you receive a letter that says, "Hey, we just want to make sure you're still okay," and you fill it out and you return it. And yeah, because if you pass away overseas, then nobody knows because the people overseas don't notify Social Security. So can anyone direct me to where I can find information on how this new Social Security Fairness Act will affect my SSDI? Yeah, if it's basically if you paid into a non-covered pension, if you work for a state or local agency, government agency that did not pay into Social Security, then that will affect you. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get one more question. Ooh, big bold letters and alert, alert, alert. Okay, let's see. I have a 25-year-old disabled daughter. When my husband res- retires, she able to collect anything from his Social Security benefit? If so, how much? Possibly yes. So if a child, it's a disabled, it's called a disabled adult child. If she was disabled before the age of 22 and a parent files for retirement benefits or disability benefits, then the child can get benefits on that particular person's record. So if somebody is receiving retirement disability, any child under the age of 18 can collect benefits on that person's record, on the parent's record. If the child became disabled before the age of 22, then the child can get benefits, and those benefits will continue for the rest of their lives, and as long as they're disabled. They will get 50% of their parents' full benefit amount. If it's a surviving child issue, then they'll get up to 75% of the parents' full benefit amount. So yes, when your husband, when your husband starts the benefits, and that's another reason to start your benefits early. Some people say, "Well, I'm 62, but if I wait till 65, I'll get more," which is fine if you're just taking years into consideration. But if you have a child or a disabled adult child that could possibly get benefits, you have to consider that if you wait 3 years, you're also gonna get they're gonna lose their check as well. So you definitely have to take that into consideration. So, all right, somebody likes my humor, which, yeah, I have kind of a sarcastic humor and stuff, so a lot of people don't get it. So, anyway, all right, that is it for today. Thank you very much, and